everybody, my name is Nozibele Kamganamayaba. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Once again, guys, thank you so much for your continued support. You keep coming to this channel, and it is my greatest pleasure to bring you all this content that is close to my heart. So I will always start my videos with thanking you guys for all that you do for us, for rooting for us, and for sharing our videos, for liking our videos, for commenting. We appreciate all of it. So today, I just wanted to take you on a journey of what it took for me to write my book. What did it take for me to publish a book in South Africa? And because a lot of people have been, reaching out to me, because a lot of people want to write books, they want to publish, but they don't know where to start. And I know I've been there, and I thought to myself, let me share my own experience, my own journey, with the hope that it's going to help you moving forward. Now, starting this video, let me say this. It is very important for you to note, I never meant to write a book. Let me just tell you straight up. I never meant to write a book. So when I was seeing my therapist, that one of the things that, he encouraged me to do is to write. He encouraged me to write my thoughts, write about how I was feeling, just write about everything. So that's what I continued to do for many years. And it started around about 2018. I'll say end of 2018, beginning of 2019, when I started reviewing some of the things that I had written many years ago. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, this could actually literally be turned into a book. But that was like the big idea. Like, if it could happen, then it would be a dream come true. But at the back of my mind, I was like, listen, I couldn't possibly write a book. But in my mind, I thought to myself, if someone could read this, with the hope that someone is going through something similar, they may take out some kind of inspiration or motivation to let them know that they're not alone and they're also going to be okay. But then I reached out to a friend of mine who actually turned out to be my editor, Ola Mungwazi. He has a company in Port Elizabeth. And at the time, he had just published a book. And I thought he would be a perfect person to just guide me in terms of what did it take for him to publish a book and how can he assist me. And one of the things that I was also reaching out to him about was that I was scared. Okay. So I was scared. I'm like, can you imagine if I write a book? What are people going to say? Are they going to like the book? What if 5 people actually buy the book? You have all kinds of fears and all sorts of negative thoughts that cross your mind. And what if I get bad reviews? What if I get negative feedback? What would I do? And I just want to commend him, and I just want to give a really good shout out to him for being there for me and for my family, and just reminding me what this whole process is about, what this whole journey is about. And one of the things that he said that will stuck with me for the rest of my life was, listen, you don't need to worry about people buying your book. Even if it's one person, even if it's five people, even if it's 10 people, it does not matter. See, you need to understand, why are you writing the book? That's where we need to start. You're writing the book for yourself. You're writing the book for your family. You're writing your book for your children so that they know that you lived. So what anyone else says does not matter, okay? That's what he always continued to tell me. And I'm sharing this because I remember when I was going through a lot, writing the book, I kept on remembering those words. Because writing in itself can be a lot, okay? Can be a lot. Particularly for me, I had to relive some of my experiences, and I had to relive some of the things that I thought I was over. And it was quite hard to some extent to deal with all the emotions that came with writing the book. And it was not even particularly about me discovering that I was HIV positive. It was things in my past, in my upbringing, my relationship with my dad, my relationship with my mom, my relationship with my family, that really, I really understood understood that, wait a minute, there are things that I thought I was over, or there are things that I'm now remembering, that I would like to have a further conversation with my mom, with my dad, and so forth. So writing was quite a lot, and I need to give a shout out once again to my husband, because one, he did not only, have my back, looking at him while I was writing the book, while I needed to finish a chapter, but he was the first receiver when all the emotions that I had tried to suppress all these years came back to me. It was really a lot. Anyway, so after I had that conversation with Olam said, listen, I will help you. The only thing that you need to focus on now is writing. Just write. And it took me up until, I'll say, November 2019, when I felt like I had a good start. I had good work for someone to edit. So now that you have written, your manuscript, now that you've written your book, the one thing now you have to decide on is whether you want to publish through a publisher, meaning a company, or you want to self-publish. So one of the things that I was advised in is, I am based in Johannesburg. I have more opportunity of my book being picked up by a publisher than anywhere else. So let me do my research in terms of what publishing companies are available. So through a friend of mine, through a network, I was, directed to one of the big publishing companies in South Africa. I don't want to mention any names, but it did publish a recent book by a South African celebrity. I had a meeting with one of their team members, and it was a fairly good meeting. They saw my first YouTube video. They were very impressed. I forwarded them just one chapter of the book to look at, and the idea was that now, they're very much interested. But however, obviously they need to, have another team meeting where they're going to present to their boss, where they're now going to decide on the way forward. So it was very positive, it was very promising. It looked like I was really going to be picked up by the publisher. Now, here's the thing. Being published by a company, it's very good, because the only sort of obligation you have is just writing the manuscript or the draft, right? And then you basically now just carried it over or forward it to the company, and through their network, because I'm assuming it is going to be a company that is very much well resourced and has done, or has published a number of books, has the experience required to publish a book. That is very, very important. So the advantage of it is that you are advantaged in the sense of their distribution, their marketing, their network, right? So basically it depends, guys, also on what deal do you have with the publishing company. In the best scenario, the company will pick up your book that you've written, so the first draft. They will look at it through their set of editors. So they probably have like 3, 4, 5, 6 editors. Okay, so that is the one advantage that you have, that you have quite a large team of people that are going to look at spelling mistakes, that are going to look at if a sentence makes sense, if a chapter, if there's a nice sequence from the previous chapter to the next chapter. They're going to look at, does this actually make sense, or actually no, this doesn't make sense, let's cut it out, or what did you actually mean, or you need to dig deep in terms of what did you want to say in this chapter. So they are the people that are going to look really, really deep in terms of, what the book is about and what is needed. Is it in top notch and all of that. Then the other thing is, through their marketing, once again, assuming that it's a very well-established publishing company, they have quite a lot of networks, it's very easy to distribute. meaning that it's going to go to bookstores across the country. It's going to go online. People can buy it online. Also, it's very easy for them to market the book through their network. So for you to appear on TV, on the newspapers, everywhere else, it's going to be very, very easy because they already established that network for themselves, and you automatically go into it. So the only thing now is that when you get that deal, some publishing companies will say, okay, you, for all this work, you need to pay a certain percentage, right? Now, I unfortunately, I don't know what the percentage is about because it also varies from one publishing company to the next. So you only pay a certain percentage. Let's say, for example, they need to pay the editors 10,000 rand. I'm making an example. They need to pay, the printing costs. They need to pay, the graphic designers that are going to, put your book, because obviously when you're writing was on a Word document, now it needs to be put in a book, in a proper book. A graphic designer needs to do that. That's another cost, okay? To get the book also at the likes of bookstores across the country, that's another cost. So they will look at the entire cost, and then they'll say, okay, you pay a certain portion, and then we will cover the rest, right? However, to cover the rest, we are going to have a certain percentage of your sales, right? We are going to have a certain percentage, that is the publishing company. We are going to have a certain percentage of the sales. That's the first thing. And then what you also need to consider is for your book also to go into bookstores, the bookstores also need to take another percentage of the sales, because they're not going to do it for free. It doesn't go like that. So the bookstores also need to take a certain percentage of the sales. So when you look at it from first glance, you think to yourself, oh my gosh, if the publishing company is taking 30% and then the bookstores are taking, let's say, another 30%, I'm left with like what, 40%? That's not much, and considering how many people are going to buy my book. Now, here's the thing. For someone who's not well known, right? For someone that is not well known, for example, for someone that is like me, right? Compared to like celebrities, or I'll make it an example. Umamu Pasetsane Kumalo that just published the book, Unati Ngai that published the book. For them, they're quite well known, they're media personalities. So when you're going into the bookstore, you're going directly to buy Unati Ngai's book. When you're going to bookstores, you're directly going to buy Pasetsane's book. A person sitting in, I'll say, Bloemfontein, a person that is sitting at Durban, a person that is sitting in Cape Town, going to like exclusive books to go and buy a book by Unozi. It's very rare, So that is one of the things that I needed to consider when I'm going this route of publishing my book through a publisher. But I thought to myself, okay, but this is a good deal because at least I don't have the responsibility of going through all these channels to get this book on, completed. But unfortunately, the deal didn't go through. The publishing company came back to me and said, unfortunately, they want to take a different direction, with their strategy in terms of what they're publishing for the new year. For this new year, this was 2020. So unfortunately, they are not able to pick up my book. And I thought to myself, listen, this is a sign. I should leave it. Worst case scenario, I had published, a website. I had just published a YouTube channel. Let me use those channels to basically cover the different aspects I was going to cover in the book. I don't need to write a book. And then school was like, no, you need to write this book. Someone needs to read this book. And it doesn't matter how much does it take. You need to write this book. So I went back to Olam and I was like, listen, that deal didn't go through. So I need you, to assist in terms of what the way forward is. So Olam was like, okay, now the first step is you're going to need to get an independent editor. So I had written, guys, about just over 500 pages. Now I got someone through social media, they're publishing their company, and it seems like a legit. And I remember, I think it was tagged by a friend of mine to check it out. So I checked them out and it seems like a legit thing. So I reached out to them and I asked them, how much how much do they charge to edit a book? And in South Africa, okay, guys, editing does not come cheap. Okay, that's the first thing you need to understand. Editing does not come cheap. If you go and do your research when it comes to editing, it can cost you anything from 30 Rand a page to 40 Rand, 50 Rand, depending on the experience of the editor and who the editor is. So this particular editor charged me 30 Rands a page. So 30 Rands times by what, 500 pages? That's how much it was going to cost me to edit the book. So I said to myself, listen, I need some payment terms, honey, because I cannot afford all this money. And so I paid the deposit, and we had given ourselves about 2 months, to start the whole editing process. But I will be honest, when I met this person, I was very excited, and also it was a woman, so I felt like she's going to understand, the woman aspect of what I was talking about in the book. So the first few chapters, it was very, very quick. Like within a day or two, we're bouncing like some things that they wanted to edit and all of those things. She was non-South African, and one of the things she said to me was, because to me, it was very important that the book is mixed. It is primarily in English, but when it came to conversations, for example, that I wanted to, that I had with my mom, I wanted that to be in my mother tongue. I wanted that to be in Xhosa. The reason why I wanted that to be in Xhosa, because there are things that, or the interpretation that you really cannot translate it into English because it doesn't have the same meaning. And I wanted to keep that. I wanted to keep the essence of it. I wanted to keep the authenticity of it. So she suggested that, rather let me have it strictly English. And I was like, okay, if you think it's gonna work, but I really don't agree, but you know best. Anyway, so it continued, guys, and after like 3 weeks, the work started slowing down. But to cut the long story short, I needed to terminate the my services with that first editor. And basically, it just didn't work out. So be prepared that you're going to change your editor 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, depending on your own experience. Then I got now a second editor. This one cost me less than the 30 Rands per page. And this was through Olamu and Wiketo. They're all, written down on my book. They're the ones that assisted me with editing the book. So editing the book, I'll say it took about 2 months to edit the book. Now, because I was going through the self-publishing route, we must remember, I don't have a team of 10 people. I don't have a team of people where we're going to bounce ideas with, right? So after some time, we all get used to, the story. We skip words. That was the main thing actually. We skip words, there's typos, and all of us miss it because there's no one else that has fresh eyes that is going to look at this. Or if we had the opportunity to do that, we needed to have the money, right, to bring someone, a fourth person that was going to come through and make sure that they're going to edit the book. We did not have the money, okay? We did not have the money to do that, right? So we needed to work with what we had, right? So we worked through the book. I'll say about 2 months. I'll say about 2 months. We finished the book, and the next phase was now to get a graphics designer. So someone was recommended to me, a graphics designer, very good. She had done some work for someone that I know. So I reached out to her. And to do a cover, right, and to do like to put the book or the manuscript into a book format, and all the things such as, well, how should the opening chapter of the book should look like. Should be a table of content, the numbers at the bottom or the top, to basically put the book together in graphic forms. The person was charging me about 20K, 25K. I did not have that money. Once again, I went back to my decision. I was like, guys, like, let me just basically just write a blog. Let me just break down this book and rather write a blog. Still, my husband and Olwam was like, no, okay, we are not going to do this. We are going to make mistakes. That is fine. But at the end of the day, this book is going to go out. It's the first time that we've ever done this, and we are not going to be stopped because we do not have money. We are not going to be stopped because we don't have resources. Let this, in any other case, be a launching pad for your second, third, or fourth book, or for someone bigger to pick it up and edit it further and publish it under their publishing company. But what we're not going to do is stop this book from proceeding. So I now started going to look for other graphics designers. So I reached out to Louis and I'm like, I would like to write a book. It's about 500 pages. I want to do a book cover. Basically, what do you have in mind in terms of like what can I, like, what would be a nice book cover? And he basically said, what do you have in mind? I'm like, listen, I'm asking you. I can only tell you about myself and my story and what the book is about. What can you come up with? So that's how he came up with this idea. The symbol behind having my eyes covered is I've been, secretly living with this disease for about 7 years, but now I am coming out, I'm smiling and all of that. So that is the symbol behind my eyes being covered. And now what I needed to do is to get a photographer to shoot, that photo, and basically put everything together, including the book. And basically, Ulu, charged me about 4,500. Yeah, 4,500 Rand to basically do the book cover and also put the book together. I mean, from 20 something K, like I was like, when can we start? How quickly can we start? We've edited the book. We have the book cover now. We need now to go to printing, right? So remember, you don't have sales yet. You've already spent like this amount of money. You don't have sales yet, right? So you still need to build that. But now you can't go to the printers and say, Bana, I'm going to pay you later. No, the printers want their money now, right? And now you have to take into consideration, how much are you going to sell the book? Okay, and how much profit are you going to make? But also, most importantly, that is all going to be influenced by how much it is going to cost you to print one book. So I got a number of quotes, and some of the quotes charge me 150 Rand each for each book. Guys, I've been through the most. They've charged me 150 Rand to print the book, to 200 Rand, to 250 Rand, but also depending on the quantity that I wanted to print. So at first, I can't say, okay, I'm going to print, because they're also quoting me based on if you print like 1,000 books or 2,000 books or 10,000 books, then the unit price is going to increase. And I'm like, but then I don't have like money to print 10,000 books. And I'm not even sure I'm going to sell 10,000 books. So I needed to take that into consideration. I went to this one company and I gave them the whole manuscript, and they basically charged me about 80 Rand. And it's a very quite well-known printing company, and I thought I've worked with them before in terms of printing other things, but not a book. But I thought it wouldn't be a train smash. So I gave them the manuscript and I said I wanted to print the book. They said it's going to cost me about 80 Rand, and I said yes, meaning that I can still, cover all my costs and all of those things. Hey, guys, when the first cover, when the first sample came back, Okay, that is the one thing that you need to prepare yourself. It is going to be printed all over again and again and again and again until they get it right. And you have to be very, very patient when it comes to that, right? So this is how the first sample looked like. I hope you can see it. Obviously, you're not going to be able to feel it because obviously, it's through a video. But the cover was, the paper was really, really hard. And also, they never listened to my instructions. They didn't print the back cover, right? That was the next thing. And then inside, look at this. I hope you can see it. Literally, this was happening every time that I opened the book. So when you look at it, it looks like literally when you bend the book, the pages are going to come out. Even the way they formatted the pages, see there at the top, at the bottom, they just printed it like the way I just gave them. They didn't do any formatting, they didn't do anything. So anyway, they said, no, don't worry, we're going to fix it. Let's do it again. So they did it again, right? And this is what came through. So with this now, they left like a whole margin that is right there. I don't know why. And then also still inside, see, it feels like the book is going to come out, or the pages are going to come out because of how they laminated everything, how they glued the book together. So I basically went to now a third printer, and this was through I think a colleague. I asked a colleague if they know anyone that can print a book for me. Then they referred me to Jetline, and they said you can go to any Jetline. You'll be able to basically really they really do a good job. I've worked with them. So we stay in Boksburg, and I went to the closest one near us in Boksburg, and a shout out to Tracy's team. And basically this is what they had for me. Do you see how shiny it is? Do you get what I mean? And also what really fascinated me about the whole thing is how they formatted the book. It was like a real book, guys. All right? I hope you can see it. Also, when you bend it, you don't see the glue like how you saw it like in the previous book. You can see Bana, it's a proper book. This is what I've been using for like since May when I published the book. And they are quite affordable. They're still above the 100 Rand mark because unfortunately the book is thick. That is also what determines like the price of the book. The book is very thick. My book is very thick. As I've said, it's about, well, I needed to now decrease the chapters. I needed to cut out some things, and eventually now it ended up being about 400 pages because it was just too much. And as I said, they are just above the 100 Rand mark, but they published the book, or they printed the book just the way I liked it. The one thing also that you need to remember is when you are publishing the book, before the book is even published, before it gets ready, you need to think about what is called the ISBN number. Basically, you need to order this online. It goes obviously with every product that is sold, so that you are able to sell this product in bookstores, everywhere else. So every book has to have this, the ISBN number. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Literally, you can go, on Google and type in ISBN numbers, and you'll see how to get it and what the process is in terms of getting it. Now, I needed to think about how people are going to order the book. There's no publisher. I have not gone through bookshops because going through bookshops has its own sort of rules and regulations, and it is fairly a closed network. So I'm saying this because I know a lot of people have been asking that the book is available online. I know a lot of people have been asking that the book is available on bookstores. That is my wish as well. That is my hope. That is my biggest dream. But unfortunately, the process in terms of getting there, it's not as easy as I thought. So the book in South Africa is available through me. Literally, Sku and I have to package. Like, we have 2 rolls of bubble wrap in the garage, every time that we get book orders, we need to wrap each book, sign it, package it, and book it to be picked up by courier. And then there are courier stories, okay? Particularly because also we've gone through, or not even gone through, we are going through the COVID pandemic. Shipping something from one location to the next has not been easy. So usually something takes about 24 hours, 48 hours, to deliver something to another place. I have seen flames, okay? I have seen flames in terms of some couriers I booked, a parcel to be picked up. It's picked up, it's in their warehouse, it arrives, let's say in Cape Town, and as they are about to deliver, they call me and say, no, we can't deliver in the townships. We can't deliver at this certain place because there are robberies. We're getting robbed. Some of our, items are being stolen. So we cannot risk like that. So I've had books that have been sitting in those warehouses for like weeks. And what needs to happen now is because people want their books and then they've paid for their books. They don't want stories about couriers not wanting to deliver. Basically, I need to come up with a plan. So if a courier cannot deliver, then I usually use other services such as PEP through their Pexi service. So PEP doesn't have a problem, has never had issues. They deliver freely like anywhere else. The only thing is now you have to physically go into the store and pick up your book. So it's not delivered door to door. That's the only thing. So I have had my fair share of, apologizing to people sometimes, and it doesn't really happen, quite a lot, but you do have those special cases where the book was supposed to arrive in like 48 hours. It's been like over 72 hours. The book still hasn't arrived. What's the problem? And I need to follow up. And you have to imagine having, we've printed over 1,100 books so far since May. And you have to deal with all those queries. And they're directly coming from to you. So you have to deal with all of that, right? So the other thing that you need to think about is the marketing. Now, the one thing that really, really assisted me in the marketing of this book is that I had other avenues before I even published the book. So I divided the whole project into phases. The first phase of the project was I'm going to launch my website, which is at nozikamgana.com. And the second thing that I'm going to launch is I'm going to launch my YouTube channel. So that is where on both platforms I publicly came out that I was living with HIV. And before the book even came into being, people had a sort of an idea of what the book was about and sort of had an idea what I was covering in the book and all of those things. So that really, really, really helped me. And along the Lantuka, the journey, I was fortunate and I was blessed to be covered by different national radio stations, like a number of radio stations that picked up on the story through my YouTube channel, on social media. If you really use social media in a positive way, I guarantee you that really, really helps in such journeys. And then the last thing that I wanted to share was this. You are putting yourself out there. You are sharing your story. Some people will get it and some will not. And you have to also take all of that feedback, and you just have to really be emotionally mature in all of that. And I know it does not even take a lot. It doesn't even take a lot of people to say, give you negative feedback or give you, sometimes even constructive feedback. It can be 99 people that are rooting for you, that love the book, that love it despite its mistakes and all of that. And then there's like one person like, what piece of trash is this? Okay? And it happens. Not everyone is going to get it, and that is okay. So those are one of the things that you continuously have to remind yourself is, why did I write this book? What was the intention of it? Because once you understand that, getting all those reviews, whether negative, positive, in between, it's not really going to matter. If people get inspired by it, motivated by it, totally a bonus, and that is why I'm really, really thankful. If there's a contrasting view, or a view that you didn't expect, I also take that as okay. What can I improve, or how can I make this better? So that is something really that you always need to continuously look out for. So I really hope that this video has really helped, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on social media. On Facebook, my name is Nozibele Mayaba. On Instagram and on Twitter, I'm at Nozikamngana. So thank you guys for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.